Sound check, 1, 2.
This is the 217 Recovery Podcast with Corey Winfield.
I got this abnormal psychology exam to do. I think there's something in there that's going to help me with this time travel.
Well, if you go back to 1985, please take me.
85?
I kind of want to go see Michael J. Fox.
June 4th, 2020. My name is Corey Winfield, and this is the 217 Recovery Podcast. I'd like to say thank you for listening. Thank you for the support. And unfortunately, we lost another huge fan. Her name is Andrea. And Andrea was very, very unique. And not everybody understood Andrea, but it wasn't my job to understand her. It was my job to laugh with her. And, you know, as a friend, I wasn't a very, very close friend with Andrea, but there are memories that that I'll never forget, and very, very funny ones too. Rob, the old co-host of the 217 Recovery Podcast, we have one, and he'll never forget it. He laughs his ass off when he thinks about it. And she was very, very free-spirited and did not hold back with whatever was on her mind. You were going to hear about it. And one day we were in the Chinese restaurant place, and that's also known as a treatment facility that we went to. And there was a couch, and she kind of jumped on the couch, on the end of the couch, and she whipped her leg across the arm of the couch. And so she kind of was sitting there just, you know, spread eagle, as you could imagine. And she was just a very skinny woman. And she looks over at Rob and I, and she just smiles like this really big, weird smile. I look at Rob, and Rob, you have to know Rob too. He's wearing his shades and his Red Wings, like silly little hat with a ball on it, you know, and so Rob's looking on like we all got off this bus together, you know. But Andrea looks over and she smiles. I look at Rob and I look at Andrea and I go, ugh. And Andrea just, she was like, F you guys. And Rob's just dying laughing. And I mean, we were just joking, but she was funny. She really was. And she played along with it. And last summer, I had to pick, I think, Anna up or something at that nasty Chinese restaurant place. And I roll in and I heard that Chris Goss was back. And I was so relieved that Chris was back in treatment. And we rolled in the parking lot, and Chris comes running out, you know, and he's like, "What's up, man?" And I think that was damn near jumped in my car, you know. He was just like, "What's going on?" And Andrea came running up too, and she was like, "Oh my God, Corey!" She was like, "I love you, and I miss you, and I'm so glad you're back. It's nice to see you, and I can't wait." And as glad as I am that Chris decided to stay up here, and it still took Chris a couple times to leave. You know, he left again and thought he was going to leave with a woman, and that didn't end up very well for him. But thank God Chris didn't die. But Andrea, you know, the friends, the family, we're going to miss you for sure. And I know you're a huge fan of the 217 Recovery Podcast, and you will be missed. Certainly. And finding this out right before the podcast started, it's like, wow, like, I don't know, it's old, man. It's old, losing people. And it's kind of like, no, because death is final. It's not like living in a sober living house. And, you know, I look back at my days when I was living in, you know, sober living in a men's house in Boyne City. And, you know, I started thinking back. I'm like, wait a minute. Most of the people got kicked out or didn't make it. And I did. But that's different. And, you know, just because you go to rehab, you know, it doesn't mean you're going to make it. It's the work that you have to put in. And the self realization, and you have to come to terms with yourself, and you have to realize you have to come to that point to where you're tired and you're actually kind of frustrated and mad that you can't have a better life because of this drug. Now, I almost became a casualty of my addiction. I was very, very close. It was like ninth inning, full count. This is the last pitch you got. I didn't realize how close I was to death at that time. And, that was from alcohol. And people were like, oh, alcohol? Yeah, it's 36. And this is what scares me about the COVID-19 is, I had the whole month of December off that year, and I drank every day, hardcore. Wake up, I didn't care if it was what time it was. It was dark outside always, it seemed. And I didn't know or even care if it was morning or night. Who cared? And, the doctor said that the damage to my liver had been done over time, but, I really, truly, deep down think that month of hardcore drinking, 100 proof, half gallons every day, played a huge part in it all. And with COVID, to just be, if you're getting unemployment, you're staying at home, and all of a sudden, boom, you got $4 or $5 grand in the account, I definitely would be dead. And that's scary, because I know there are people out there that are suffering and going through this addiction, and you're told to isolate. You got this money now. What are you going to do? What do you think they're going to do? And it's very scary, and I hope there's somebody out there that can get something from this to go, it's time. It's time to go. Time to go to treatment. It's time to get help. And I was watching a thing on Robin Williams earlier, and he said that's when he turned the corner in his recovery, is when he realized that he needed to ask for help. He, like so many, thought he could do it on his own. He's done many great things in his life. This is just, I don't have to drink. I can just stop this. And then you realize you can't. And there's nothing wrong with asking for help. I know it's hard when you want to at first, because you feel like you failed. You feel like you're not worth it. Why should anybody care about you? You've done things, you've said things, but those are things, and those were things that are probably done and said when you were under the influence. So there's help out there, trust me, and people want to help. I love it when I can look into someone's eyes and the light has come on, like Chris Goss. I keep bringing him up, and Chris is a great friend of mine. I consider Chris a great friend, and I don't want to see bad things happen to Chris. But when Chris came out of treatment this last time, he had a different look in his eye, and it's like he had confidence that he knew that this time it was going to be different, and he was going to make sure of that, and he did the things that he didn't want to do. And when you look at somebody like Chris, and you look in their eye, and you just know that something's different this time. He's not BSing anymore. He's changed some things, and there's nothing more satisfying than looking at somebody and it's just like, okay, I think they're on the right road. And whether they're going to stay on that road, that's up to them and the things they do. It's kind of, all right, you're going to think I'm weird for this one, but it has to do with my cat. All right, I'm gonna break this down for you. It's something that I realized I was thinking about earlier today. I bought Nico a feeder, a cat feeder, and it said, I can jump on my phone, and wherever I'm at on the earth, I can feed my cat. So it recommends like 3 feedings a day, like a 3/10 of a cup or something, and at 7, noon, and 6. Well, that's so human, right? A cat doesn't eat at those times, but that's what it suggests. And so I rolled with that the first day, and I realized quickly that was not working. My cat was running down the hall at me. What are you doing, Dad? You going to feed me? I'm like, but you got it in there. And so then I just decided, okay, well, I think that's just pissing her off, because it's not making her happy. So I'm just going to feed her one time. So I set it at 6 p.m. and I set it for, I think, 1/4 of a cup, something like that. And I still notice that she's, chasing me down. I look, and there's food in the bottom of this dish. So I'm like, what's the problem? Like, you got food in there? Like, what are you doing? And it hit me today is the problem is my expectation of the food that's being in there is enough. And in reality, that's not enough. Not for Nico. Yeah, there's food in there, but not enough to make her feel safe. Not enough to make her feel secure that she doesn't have to chase me down the hall every morning and go, hey, Dad, what's up? You gonna put me some food in there? So until I can find that perfect balance of having enough food in there for what she's going to eat that day to maintain that perfect balance where she's never going to have to come get me again. So I guess that thinking about it and just realizing, okay, well, she probably thinks I'm crazy because I'm like, yeah, there's food in there. And she knows this little mechanical thing is just spitting out food at her, which is very cool, by the way. She's like, that's not enough. Even though I think it's enough, but who am I, for what she feels is safe and what she thinks, she needs in that dish to feel secure, to make her comfortable and relaxed. What's her acceptable amount of food? And that kind of is a little bit like rehab to me, and it's a little bit like recovery because, I may think that you need this amount of meetings or this amount of meditation or this amount of helping others, but that's not right for you. What's going to make you feel comfortable? What's going to make you feel like you are secure in your recovery? Just think about that for a minute, because you might get frustrated because somebody's telling you, well, go to 90 meetings in 90 days, and that might physically be impossible for you. Or maybe you're telling somebody, go to 90 meetings in 90 days. Is that really acceptable? I mean, I hate calling it like my grandpa's AA, but I mean, and hey, that works for some people. Going to 90 meetings in 90 days, I'm sure it has, but how many has it failed for if you really want to look at it? And I'm not trying to go into the, this works, this doesn't work. I'm just saying it might not work for everybody. And if you've been trying this and you're kind of setting yourself up for a failure, like if I bought this badass cat feeder for my cat, okay, I did the right thing, didn't I? That felt good. I'm a good dad to my cat. But I'm not doing her any service because she's still running around the house like, I don't have enough food, Dad. Like, I want some more. And so going to those unrealistic expectations of other people, they're just not right for everybody. And don't beat yourself up and there's a difference between not being willing to, if you're just like lazy, if you're laying around on the couch and you could easily go to 90 meetings in 90 days, shit, go, get your ass off the couch, do something. But I'm saying, don't beat yourself up. And some people are like, oh, you got to go that extra mile. You got to try. I guess, again, it all is different for each and every one of us. That's my point. And if that works, great. If it doesn't, don't beat yourself up. But just realize, in that dish, until I get it perfect, she's still going to be running around this house because it is not acceptable to her, even though I'm cool with it. She's running around there like, I got to train this human. Got to train him a little bit better. He's going to do what I tell him. And maybe I'm a sucker for doing that, but I don't know. At least that's not time machine talk tonight, right? I was kind of hurt a little bit by something that happened. Not really hurt. Actually, I was relieved, and I was pissed. Those are two different things, I know. But we were applying for these grants for the transportation service, and I think I got something figured out, but we'll talk about that later. But anyway, the grant was in Charlevoix County, and that's in northern Michigan. And the deal is, if you get a grant, you pretty much have to be active in that community. And I was all prepared for that. And I spent a lot of time in Charlevoix County, and I know a lot of people there. And I just thought, okay, if we're going to help people, we're going to help people. And I know there are a lot of sober living houses there that people would really love transportation. So I thought, well, yeah, okay, this will be good. Well, it turns out we didn't get the grant. And one of the reasons was because we had recovery in our name, and we were going to be a non-emergency medical transportation service. We'll take people to doctor appointments, and then